Let me put this on, and I'll just do you like a nice slow British man read of this, and then you can just use it for whatever, okay?
Okay.
It was always a dream of mine to be at the Gap and to design at the same level of the top fashion houses in the world at $20 for the people.
Wells Fargo predicted Gap's Yeezy line could bring in nearly $1 billion within a year and boost Gap shares by $1.50 per share by 2026. High hopes of a revitalized Gap after Kanye's partnership with Adidas was an instant knockout success.
People are going to knock it off one way or another. Why don't you go and get the middle tier market to be able to be still influenced so you get both sides of the cake? And also, Gap stock, I think, skyrocketed. I think they did 43, it increased 43%. I think it's right now at 23%. Because if he does about 25% of business, oh, that's a seat on the board. And I want to see more people like Kanye on the board.
The moment there's never be an opportunity with a guy like me that cares this much about specifically this brand and has done this up to this point. Don't fucking clap, you guys are gonna get in the position on the Twitch. And get it. Don't sound fucking jokes in Virgil's name, in my mama name.
Kanye West, now known as Ye, said he is terminating his deal with the retailer for failing to meet obligations in the agreement, including product distribution and opening Yeezy Gap stores.
Actually, I wasn't able to set the actual price that I wanted for this collection. And then they actually took one of the shirts and sold it for $19. So
Do we know why there was just sort of no middle ground?
We don't.
I'm fighting for a position to be able to change clothing and bring the best design to the people.
Really? It was on a pop-up. They had $8,000 worth of merch and Yeezy clothing. The Yeezy team, who's over his product, showed up to this and called the police.
This has been stolen!
The team that went to shut it down actually sent them and said there is a sale of stolen Yeezy Gap.
From Ye, formerly known as Kanye West.
Yeezy Gap clothing is $20, so it was gonna be a movie. I was gonna cash out heavy, but then LAPD showed up and they closed down the
road. They had a truckload of stuff over there that they were about to sell for $20 a pop.
There are still people waiting since February for orders, back on Yeezy Supply, and now you can't make any orders over on Yeezy Supply, so they have shut the website down for now. But in the meantime, there was this new
website came out of nowhere claiming to be selling unreleased Gap products. It's called Los Angeles Archive, and at first people were ordering and receiving products that they had no issues with.
On what grounds? On what grounds? This was stolen. Ongoing investigations?
Hey, I'm Milo. I'm the former chief of staff at Yeezy. I used to run the company, and we are at Los Angeles Apparel, where I maintain an office. This is actually Ye's former bedroom, but we've had it saved. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. He does still feel like he's here sometimes. And where I kind of run a few little things from. You wanted to ask me some questions about Yeezy Gap, I think.
Yeah, so from kind of the start, from how you got involved with Los Angeles Apparel and Yeezy, from the start, just kind of summarize your time and like kind of how this all came about for you.
I heard that Ye wants to go into politics, and I thought to myself, well, if the hungry tigers in music and fashion are bad, he has no idea what it's going to be like in politics. So I reached out and I said, look, I've always admired you as an artist, and if you're going to come into politics, if you want like a friendly ear, or if you want any advice or anything, then please feel free to reach out. He did. I quickly became his director of public affairs, which means politics stuff. When he was considering another run for office, I kind of ran the politics department.
It's Milo right here. How you doing, Milo? On the campaign.
Oh, right on.
Is that an announcement? I guess it is. Thanks. I accept. So it's all good. So boom, right here. We got the Balenciaga right here, but it's the Ye 24 merch.
I abolished my own department when I kind of sort of persuaded him that perhaps running for president is not right for you or the country in this particular cycle, and he asked me to stay on anyway, and then I quickly kind of became chief of staff. This is about 2022. Then I quickly became chief of staff, and I was running Yeezy for a little bit, and during that time oversaw what I would describe as just the most astonishing smorgasbord of like petty to major thefts, schemes, like just astonishing. I mean, politics is bad, there's sharks and there's this, I've never seen anything like the miasma that surrounds Ye, of, you know, from petty con artists to elaborate schemes to defraud to like diabolical dentists, you know, trying to like drug and murder megastars to do God knows what. I mean, we got rid of that one, but I've never seen anything like it in my life. After 25 years of being one of the most, you know, talented, wealthy, famous musicians and designers in the world, he has acquired the most horrifying and enormous, like, complex ecosystem of people just looking to leech, you know? So a lot of my job, Ye used to call me his pet tarantula, so a lot of my job was to kind of catch these people on the way in and, you know, leave them bruised, bloodied in a body bag in the woods, figuratively speaking, of course. You know, but no, I mean, among the worst of the thefts, for sure, which I think we're going to talk about, was the Yeezy Gap, which, you know, ran into the millions.
Yeah. Real quick though, you're talking about like all your jobs in tax.
Yeah.
From what I was able to gather, you worked on the Ye 24 campaign, Yeezy Gap, used the Yeezy app, and potentially Yeezy porn. Can you kind of go over that list and then also kind of mention?
Yeah. Well, I ran the company, so I was involved in everything. I ran everything. People, processes, payroll, everything. So when I came in, we were talking about, so Ye 24, since there was no political campaign, Ye 24 we described as a design language. No, I Use was my baby, so I created that with Ye and hired everybody for it, and, you know, crafted that. So I ran that. We shipped products perfectly and on time 3 times a day for, you know, every day. So I obviously, you know, I oversaw the music, fashion, and everything else for his political projects. Used the news product. I was involved in everything because, you know, I ran the business for him. So dealing with mopping up problems, I fired 130 people in January with no observable effect on business operations. Yeah, just, you know, everything from payroll to strategy to running. You know, I was sort of product lead on everything we did.
So to start off with the Yeezy Gap, can you tell me kind of pre and post timeline right before everything kind of just got like kind of canceled, absolutely fucked from your point of view? How did that cancellation happen? And we'll get into kind of everything after that.
You know, it was always Ye's aspiration to bring clothes to market at an affordable price point. Like, you know, these are Yeezy Gap and the Phantom, and you know, he wanted to bring these for $20 for everybody. And you know, it seems to me, I want to clarify, I wasn't there at the time for this, but it seems to me that Gap kind of lured him in with promises of helping him to realize that vision, sort of democratizing high fashion for everybody, and then kind of turned around and said, no, actually we're not doing that. No, actually we're not doing that. You know what I mean? So you know, I'm very proud of the fact that under my tenure at Yeezy, we were able to realize that dream for him. And we were able to take the price of everything, including the pods, down to $20, and do so successfully and do so profitably. And that was possible because we had good people good leadership. You know, we had people like, you know, who knew what they were doing, and we were able to very quickly re-engineer those products, re-architect. Right? There's this one thing that Charney did not manage to make cheaper than $20, which was the pants, because they were like seamless all the way around, the Gosha pants. And we weren't able to get those under $20, so we were selling those at a loss. But everything else we got under, and it's really thanks to Dove's genius that we got that done.
This guy is taking me to Washington.
We're gonna eat with the president. We're having lunch with the president, and we're going to Africa. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Excuse me. I want you guys to see my presentation I have for the president, but I want everybody in the office to gather around. So I want to get you guys a picture. Okay. All right. Okay. You know, I'm an educator. That's what I do. My parents are both educators. My mom is the first black female chair in Chicago State University. So we made the hat right here, Make Education Great Again. So that's a hat that we've made that I'm aware. Here's it, Make Industry Great Again. That's what you are, Trump. You created industry, and we're gonna power it. This is Dove Charney. He got kicked out of his own fucking company. He started American Apparel. Because we are at home and we were able to make this stuff on land, we were able to make all of these hats in 2 hours in a factory that he has in LA. This is the best, smartest factory guy, and he's American. He's North American.
It's hard to believe what's here, and there's stuff even above that you can't see. And the mastermind behind all of this is Dove. Hey, what are we looking at? What is this?
This is our new production facility for That's Los Angeles. We're going to be producing millions of t-shirts from this facility. We'll be cutting, sewing, producing textiles all here in Los Angeles. We're going to generate thousands of jobs, and we're going to synergize and bring together art, commerce, and manufacturing in a way that no one's ever seen before. We have equipment, state-of-the-art equipment.
This thing's
all brand new from Europe.
Brand new.
Got a guy here from Turkey installing everything. High-tech, automated manufacturing systems. In this case, it's cutting. What we want to do, we believe in free trade.
Right.
We believe in open borders, and we believe we can make it more efficiently here on the merits. Okay, on the merits, we can compete with a better product and serve our customers head-to-head because we believe in advanced manufacturing, we believe in people, and we believe in creativity and art, which happens to be an asset that we have right here in Los Angeles.
By the way, the lighting on you is great right now.
Thank you very much.
It looks really good.
That's
But
my-
why do they love you? They follow you. You're like the
I don't think
apparel
they're
messiah.
I don't think they're following me. They're following the vision, the passion, and we're going somewhere. We're going to build something. We're going to make t-shirts efficiently, provide great value to our customers, while at the same time paying living wages. We did it before, but we're going to do it in a more refined, advanced way because we have all of our experiences, both positive, negative to draw from, and advances business to another level. And we will make Los Angeles proud once again.
So I kind of redid all the business relationships. He re-engineered the garments. You know, we found new suppliers, and we brought the whole product line back into profitability after Ye kind of just woke up one day and said, "Fuck it, I'm doing my $20."
We're moving towards the future. Like, so what we do here is I'll cut up, 100 hoodies from Yeezy, from Balenciaga, from the stuff we did at Gap, from the stuff we did at Adidas, and everything we do is going to cost $20. We need to make sure that everyone can receive the same level of cuts, the same level of food, same level of water, same level of education, the curriculum, the engineering. We're beings with engineering opportunities. We're getting past the past. We're focused on the future.
It does predate my tenure, and I wasn't involved in the lawsuit here. Okay. So I don't want to speak about this stuff with any authority, except to say that people, for some reason, think that because Ye is an artist, because he is a designer and a musician, that they don't have to take him seriously or respectfully as a businessman, and that never works out well for them. He's demanding, he's mercurial, he's all the things that you would expect from a genius. But it's incumbent on a partner who is in business with and in concert with that kind of once-in-a-generation talent, that kind of once-in-a-generation genius. It's incumbent on them to to be partners, you know, to be partners, to swim alongside, to like take the curveballs, and you know, clearly Gap felt they were too big or didn't have to you know, do any of the things that they ought to do as partners, and they had, I mean, just the most extraordinary potential imaginable to print money, and they messed it up. They screwed it up. You know, they didn't treat Ye as he ought to have been treated, and you know, with the result that he you know, that relationship came to an end, right? So you know, I wasn't there at the time, so I don't want to be any more specific about that.
No, that's fair enough. So we'll fast forward like a good amount of time into the future.
Yeah, because I show up in 2022. You know?
Yeah, no, I totally understood. So we'll fast forward way into the future, into like almost like February this year. The pods are going on sale. Everything's going back on sale. That's Los Angeles Apparel. Everyone knows that. So moving forward into the months, we saw the items got stolen. From your perspective, in that morning, everything got stolen. What's going on?
Well, we obviously weren't aware of the thefts happening when they happened. We became aware of them later.
Same day?
No, because the storage unit that we trusted was in on this stuff, so we were not notified of the losses, right? I don't personally believe it's a coincidence that the warehouse that they were, the warehouse that this sale was occurring in, was owned by a very close friend and patient of Thomas Connelly, the Dr. Death of Dentistry.
Could you get into that real quick? Who's Thomas Connelly?
I call Thomas Connelly the Dr. Death of Dentistry. He's the dentist who incapacitated, immobilized, and in my opinion, attempted to kill Kanye West, by getting him heavily addicted to nitrous gas, and by leaving that nitrous gas to be self-administered by Ye himself at home.
Ryan Garcia, this is Ye, I'm on the nitrous.
Now, nitrous gas is, in and of itself, not the most dangerous thing in the world, taken in small quantities, mixed in the correct admixture with oxygen, as you would have it at the dentist surgery. But when it's done at home, outside of the purview of a medical professional, and it's done by the patient themselves, it has the potential to be deadly.
So everyone's heard of nitrous. What? Have you heard of blue raspberry, vanilla cupcake, fruit punch nitrous? I'm talking about galaxy gas.
So it's supposed to take your desserts to the next level, but using it the wrong way is leaving people high. While it has many legitimate uses, it creates a brief but potentially deadly high.
On the boxes, they market it as a food and beverage additive. So on the site, they market that you can make nitro citrus margaritas and coffee and shit. They're literally just putting flavors on this shit so high schoolers are gonna huff it in the bathroom. When it literally says, do not inhale, right on the box.
Holy shit.
Oh, it's going. It went. It 100%.
That was actually working.
It 100% went. Wait, that felt crazy.
Because your body cannot tell the difference between nitrous and oxygen. So when you're breathing in nitrous gas, your lungs don't know that you're not getting oxygen. So you don't feel like you're asphyxiating. You don't know that you're not getting oxygen. You're breathing and you're feeling fine. In fact, you're feeling great because you're feeling the high effects of the nitrous, but parts of your brain are dying, right? And that's what happens when, thanks to prolonged exposure of this stuff. And I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't think it's a coincidence that the warehouse at which the Yeezy Gap merchandise was, the sale was attempted, right? The urban necessity sale of stolen Yeezy Gap merchandise was attempted at a warehouse owned by a close friend and patient of Thomas Connelly.
Surge Studios.
So we have the guy's name in the document, so I can show you later. But this guy is a patient and a close friend of Thomas Connelly. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think this is a criminal gang. Billy Walsh is a well, he calls himself a writer. I don't know that he's ever actually written a song, but he certainly gets paid a lot of money for hanging around people. He was telling Ye, when Ye was down in Santa Barbara, really hitting him hard, hitting him heavy, like, you gotta go and get these grills from this dentist. He's done everybody. He's done Travis. He's done Yachty. You know, like telling everybody. You gotta.
This nigga made Kanye West grill. With the new silver shit that Kanye be rocking, he made that. He did shit with Yachty. He did shit with fucking Offset. Bro, he done did shit. Bro, look at this nigga, bro. Look. So chat, look. Connelly, right? Look, he done did shit with OBJ. Look, this is Kanye shit, bro. For Kanye, bro. He done did shit with OBJ fucking... Bro, look at this shit, bro.
Yeah, tell everybody, yeah, you gotta get Ye in to go see this dentist, Thomas Connelly. And I suspect Billy's getting kickbacks from the dentist, the Dr. Death of Dentistry. But Ye goes to see him, and very soon after being measured and fitted for this titanium thing in his mouth, Ye starts to exhibit strange behavior, different behavior, right? There's Ye, and then there's, okay, this is not within the parameters of what I'm used to. Like, he changes his mind a lot. He's like a passionate artist, right? So there's certain kinds of behaviors that would range outside of what you would normally expect from like most people, because he's, mercurial genius creative, right? But there's stuff that's just not in the usual range, even for him. And that's what we started to see, and it turned out that he was getting like absolutely hooked on this stuff, right? At the behest and thanks to Thomas Connelly, who was supplying it for consumption at home. I mean, I have images of Thomas Connelly taking 4 surgical-sized canisters of nitrous gas into Bianca's apartment building, which is Ye's apartment building, where they live. There's no possible, conceivable clinical reason why you would take enough gas to kill 50 people into a patient's home and leave it there, with no medical professional there to administer its use.
And this news came out through you on Twitter posting an affidavit, basically stating if you lied, it's cooked.
It did, because my job was to catch these people, and I missed that one. I missed them on the way, and I didn't get them in time, and I felt obliged to Ye for Ye's safety, and as a point of professional pride too. But also, mostly to make sure the fucker didn't die. Like if you look, it's not my job what Ye chooses to do with his life, his career, his body, unless I'm running things for him, obviously, and then I can express an opinion now and again. But I'm not going to sit back and watch him get killed by somebody who's obviously out for money. I mean, Thomas Connelly, at the same time as he was getting Ye addicted to these drugs, was trying to get himself installed as the CEO of Yeezy. He was demanding $200,000 a month in salary. And when I said no, I became like enemy number one, for this dentist.
He also said he'd make a Yeezy car, a portable N202 system.
Yes, his plan was to get installed as the CEO of Yeezy, and to change the focus of this multi-billion-dollar multinational music and fashion brand to become a manufacturer of portable nitrous oxide machines. The reason for that, I think, is that he's trying to legitimize the drug in the mind of the person he's got hooked on it, so that person feels more comfortable taking more of it, right? And it's like, if this is like a legitimate business opportunity, if this is something that we could do commercially, then how could it be bad? It's harmless. After all, my dentist says so, and isn't he a doctor?
I never put a gun in my mouth, chat. I never, ever. W man, chat. Yeah, that's W fucking man's, bro. A $50,000 grill set. And he does veneers and shit. This nigga shit is actually crazy. He did like all set shit and all that. Bro, look.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I think was going on. He was positioning this as a potential revenue line for Yeezy, as a way of legitimizing it to the patient that he was killing a bit. I mean, Ye's not going to love me saying this, I'm sure, but we're talking about one of the most unusual, original, brilliant, creative minds alive, walking planet Earth alive today. There is a non-zero chance that permanent brain damage has been done to that mind from this nitrous use.
Nitrous when I was at Donda. Yeah. I didn't even realize how long I had been like
doing nitrous, but now it definitely has affected my memory. But the funny thing is,
now what form that takes, I don't know. I'm not saying like, gonna make worse shoes, but maybe it's memory, maybe it's names recognition, maybe it's fatigue. I don't know, right?
God can use my memory, but that's not what he needs. He needs my channel. He needs you. He needs you. What are you two gentlemen's name again? Corey.
Nobody does. But there's a very real possibility, and I would even say that it is more likely than unlikely that damage has been done to that mind. Like one of the greatest minds that walks among us, as a result of this. So I felt it was urgently necessary for me to remove this person from his orbit, even after I was no longer at Yeezy. And I definitely feel I did the right thing. And I did so in the full expectation that Ye would never speak to me again, and that would burn everything forever. It turned out not to be the case. And I was very happy to hear from him a few weeks later and to receive a message from him where he thanked me for always having his back, which made me feel very good about everything.
In this Aphrodite, you basically tried to get rid of this man's dentist license. Mm-hmm. It's been a few months since then, maybe 2 or 3 months.
He's now under active investigation by the California Dental Board. I'm supplying them with more information that I didn't supply publicly because I was trying not to humiliate Ye any more than is obviously unavoidable with this issue, just to try to kind of to show the seriousness. And the reason I did it publicly, by the way, is that this guy Connelly has targeted African American celebrities particularly, which is a group that presumably he finds particularly credulous, impressionable. I don't know, but he obviously targets them. He has Travis and Liliati and a galaxy of other stars, African American, R&B, rap, and hip hop stars as patients, and I felt that it was necessary to ensure that none of them went back to him. I found out in the course of my investigations that he was putting cubic zirconia and lab diamonds in people's mouths instead of real diamonds and charging them for real diamonds. So I don't know if he'll make it to jail after that one, but I thought it was really necessary to make sure that his obvious aggressive targeting of this particular demographic came to an end. So I had to do it publicly. I had to do it publicly to make sure that he was finished professionally, right? And I did, and he has been.
I spent like all the money for the commercial on these new teeth.
Glad to say he's been banished from Ye's orbit, and I think you'd have to be pretty dumb to go to him now without.
Once again, I had to shoot it on the iPhone.
You don't want to be. You Google that dentist. Yes, Hey, so good. You're welcome.
Yeezy season approaching. Fuck whatever y'all been hearing. Fuck whatever y'all been wearing. A monster about to come alive again.
Demonstrates our frustration with the storage unit who was in the business of keeping people's possessions safe, yet took a remarkably and disturbingly blasé attitude to where our possessions were. I mean, we had emails and texts from the guy that owned the storage unit saying stuff like, we might still have some pallets in the rafters. Like, I'm sorry, what? This incredibly sort of
like $1 million worth of stuff.
Yeah, this guy. We might still have some pallets in the rafters. Like, what are you talking about? This is $1.2 million of the merchandise. Where is it? So we first discovered that it was missing when I kind of intuited there was something up with this guy, with the storage guy. So I suggested that we move everything back to our own storage facility, so we could perform an audit, check what we have, and check that Ye's cars are good, that the safe is intact, blah blah blah. And we found out the safe had been cracked at this facility. Without our knowledge. And
And were these for just the Gap items, or both Gap and the locker blocker whatnot person?
This particular storage unit had a wide variety of things, including some of Ye's automobiles and his private safe. And his private safe was cracked.
You know, this is a year after, you know, I guess this product was sold, but you know, you say you talked to all parties, so I'm just curious what that means.
Over his product showed up to this and called the police.
This has been stolen!
On Friday, March 15th, Yeezy executives became aware of the sale of stolen Yeezy Gap merchandise by Urban Necessities in downtown Los Angeles. The merchandise was unmistakably ours because boxes visible in promotional social media postings bore labels from both our manufacturing partner, Los Angeles Apparel, and our storage facility, 1981 Distribution. But I do know that Corey Shapiro, the so-called Canadian seller to whom Urban Necessities grudgingly introduced us, was a fucking liar.
I have no idea. I lend out money to people, and that's pretty much as far as we go.